continuing Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna, welcome to all devotees. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 10. Bhagavatam is the answers to all questions. We try to understand Shlok number 35. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
अमुनि भगवत रूपे
Amuni Bhagavat Rupe.
मया ते हि अनुवर्णिते
Maya Tehi Anuvarnite.
उभे अपि न गृह्णन्ति
Ubhe api na grunhanti.
माया सृष्टे विपश्चितः.
Maya srushte vipaschitaha.
अमुनि भगवत रूपे मया ते अणुवर्णिते
Mai amuni Bhagavat Rupe Maya Tehi Anuvarnite.
उभे अपि न गृह्णन्ति माया सृष्टे विपश्चितः.
Ube api grunti maya srushte vipaschitaha.
अमुनि भगवत रूपे मया ते अणुवर्णिते उभे अपि न गृह्णन्ति माया सृष्टे विपश्चितः.
Amuni Bhagavat Rupe Maya Tehi Anuvarnite. Ube api na grunhanti maya srushte vipaschitaha.
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Neither of the above forms of the Lord, as just described unto you from the material angle of vision, is accepted by the pure devotees of the Lord who know Him well. Purport. The impersonalists think of the absolute personality of Godhead in two different ways. As above mentioned, on the one hand, they worship the Lord in His viśva-rūpa, or all-pervading universal form, and on the other, they think of the Lord's unmanifested, indescribable, subtle form. The theories of Pantheism and Monism are respectively applicable to these two conceptions of the Supreme as gross and subtle, but both of them are rejected by the learned pure devotees of the Lord because they are aware of the factual position. This is very clearly mentioned in the 11th canto of the Bhagavad Gita, which records Arjuna's experience of the viśva-rūpa of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Adruštapurvam rushitah asmi društva bhaena cha pravyathitam amanah me tad eva me darshaya devarupam prasida deva isha jagat nivasa. Bhagavad Gita 11.45. Arjuna, as a pure devotee of the Lord, never previously saw the contemplated universal form of the Lord, viśva-rūpa. But when he did see it, his curiosities were satisfied. But he was not happy to see such a form of the Lord because of his attachment as a pure devotee. He was afraid to see the gigantic form of the Lord. He therefore prayed to the Lord to assume his four-handed Narayan or Krishna form, which alone could please Arjuna. Undoubtedly, the Lord has the supreme potency to exhibit himself in multifarious forms, but the pure devotee of the Lord are interested in his form at eternally exhibited in the abode of the Lord, known as the Tripad Vibhuti or kingdom of God. The Lord in the Tripad Vibhuti abode exhibits himself in two forms, either with four hands or with two hands. The viśva-rūpa exhibited in the material manifestation has unlimited hands and unlimited dimensions with everything unlimited. The pure devotees of the Lord worshipped him in his Vaikuṇṭha form as Narayan or Krishna. Sometimes the same Vaikuṇṭha form of the Lord are in the material world, also by his grace as Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, Sri Narsimha, etc. And thus the pure devotees also worship them. Usually, the features shown in the material world have no existence in the Vaikuṇṭha planet, and thus they are not accepted by the pure devotees. What the pure devotees worship from the very beginning are eternal form of the Lord existing in the Vaikuṇṭha planet. The non-devotee impersonalist imagine the material form of the Lord, and ultimately they merge in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti of the Lord. Whereas the pure devotee of the Lord are worshippers of the Lord both in the beginning and also in the perfect stage of salvation eternally. The worship of the pure devotee never stops, whereas the worship of the impersonalist stops after his attainment of salvation, when he merges in the impersonal form of the Lord, known as the Brahma Jyoti. Therefore, the pure devotees of the Lord are described here as Vipaschit, or the Lord who are in the knowledge of the Lord perfectly. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्विताञ्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा। प्रणाम। Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 10. Bhagavatam is the answer to all question, and we try to understand Shlok number 35. In this shloka, they describe that the impersonalist think about the absolute personality of God in two different ways. One, they worshipping the Lord in the form of Vishnu-rūpa, Vishva-rūpa, and means Virat-rūpa, or all-pervading universal form. And other, the Lord's unmanifested, indescribable, subtle form. And here that describing about the Pantheism, Monism, and they giving the example of the Shlok, Bhagavad Gita, Shlok 11.45. And again, they describing about the pure devotees of the Lord, worship in Vaikuṇṭha, Narayan or Krishna, or sometimes they Ram, Nrsimha, etc. the describing about that. And therefore, the pure devotees of the Lord described here as vipaschit means learned, who are the knowledge, who has the knowledge or who are in the knowledge of the Lord perfectly. Means who has perfect knowledge of Lord is called vipaschit. Prabhuji will tell us in nicely. Hare Krishna Pranam.
Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for introducing us to the very important concept of vipaschita. So, as we can see, what Shukdev Goswami ji is doing is, after having narrated the 10 important subject matters of Bhagavatam, he has introduced us to the how the bodily forms are created. So here we see now Shukdev Goswami ji is clarifying an extremely important spiritual principle, that neither the material universal form is viśva-rūpa, nor the unmanifest impersonal feature is accepted by pure devotees, because these forms are only material angles of vision. The pure devotees know the Lord as He is, the eternal Supreme Personality of Godhead, in His transcendental Vaikuṇṭha forms. So, if you look at the impersonalists, there are two conceptions, and both are rejected by pure devotees. The impersonalists see the Lord either in viśva-rūpa, that is the all-expanding universal form, or the avyakta, subtle and manifest form, which is described as the indescribable impersonal Brahman. So, what they are doing is they are corresponding to the Pantheism, that is God is equal to universe, viśva-rūpa, or Monism, where everything merges into one formless Brahman. But pure devotees reject both because they understand these forms are temporary, they understand they are material. They know the eternal spiritual form of the Lord exists in Vaikuṇṭha. Now, if you see this particular shloka, this is very closely associated with what we have learned in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So homework for everyone today is to read the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, its translations and its purpose. Because in 11th chapter, Arjuna sees the viśva-rūpa. And what is his reaction? He's very happy and dancing, right? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Or he's, what I'll say, astonished. Ah, no. He's bewildered and he's fearful. If you see 34th shloka, Sanjaya says, Sanjaya uvacha etat shrutva vachanam keshvasya krutanjali vepamana kiriti namaskrutva bhuya evaha krishnam sagadgadam bhita bhitah pranamyah. What it is said? Bhita bhitah. So Sanjay is describing to Dhritarashtra that after hearing the words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again, and he fairly spoke to Lord Krishna in faltering voice. So Arjuna's experience makes it very clear that universal form is not the devotee's goal. Arjuna admits he had never seen such a horrifying form before, but his heart became disturbed and fearful. So he requested Krishna, please show me again your beautiful form as Narayan or Krishna. Adrushta purvam rushitah asmi društva bhayena cha pryavyatita manah me tad eva darshaya deva rupam prasida devesha jagat nivasa. So Arjuna is saying, after seeing this uniform form, which I have never seen before, I'm gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal you again your form as personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. So Arjuna was satisfied only by the two-handed form of Shri Krishna, Shyama Sundar. Why? Because the universal form is material, it is temporary, and Krishna's original form is eternal, it is spiritual. In fact, the further we see in the same chapter that Krishna himself agrees that even demigods like Brahma and Shiva, they desire to see this original two-handed form, but no one is able to behold it. So what do the devotees do? So devotees, unlike the atheists or the impersonalists, pure devotees worship the eternal four-handed Narayana form or the eternal two-handed Krishna form. Sometimes the Lord appears on earth as Ram, Narsimha, Krishna, and therefore devotees worship these same Vaikuṇṭha forms. Material features shown on earth rarely exist in Vaikuṇṭha. Therefore, devotees do not accept imagined material depictions. They worship only the eternal spiritual forms. Now, one question which comes up is, we know that the Lord has to be understood in three stages: Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan iti. So, Brahman is one of the stages. So, why Brahma Jyoti is not accepted? The answer is, it is not that Brahma Jyoti is not accepted. The answer is, Brahma Jyoti is accepted, but not the ultimate. Prabhupada ji makes it very clear that Brahma Jyoti is one step towards realization. So devotees do not reject Brahma Jyoti. They reject the Mayavad conclusion that Brahman is everything. And so Brahma Jyoti is considered like a hell by the devotees. Why? Because in Brahma Jyoti there is no devotional service. Devotees want loving service. They do not want mere merging. Because living beings can never be inactive. So in Brahma Jyoti, remaining inactive is not possible. They have to fall down. So if there is again going to be a fall down, devotees say it is hell. In fact, the Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 27th verse of 14th chapter, Brahmana api pratishtaham amrutasya avyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya dukhasya ekantikasya cha. So Krishna is declaring that he is the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, eternal, is constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So everything is dependent upon Krishna, and that is what we have been studying in this shlokas till now. That whatever we do is dependent on Krishna. Even our excretory system is not in our hand. There's a superior person appointed to control it. So everything belongs to Krishna. We belong to Krishna. So why unnecessarily not accept it? So the question comes, if we are the ones who are belonging to Krishna, can we see Krishna? The answer is yes. But only by devotion one can see the Lord. Bhagavad Gita states that Krishna cannot be seen by material senses. See, Krishna is not so cheap that he would be seen by everyone. And the material senses, if you see over a period of time, they are not able to see their own laptops also, not able to read what is there on books also. So how do you expect with these senses to see Krishna? Not possible. Krishna reveals himself only by bhakti. Mental speculation cannot reach him. So Arjuna acknowledges The infinite can only be understood when the infinite reveals himself. So he requests Krishna's grace, not relying on his own strength. The universal form is rarely seen. The personal form is even rarer. Krishna tells Arjuna, no amount of piety, austerity, charity, Vedic study can reveal the universal form. Yet his two-handed form is even more difficult to behold. Even demigods long to see it. And when Krishna restored his two-handed Shyam-Sundar form, Arjuna felt peaceful and composed again. So if that is the state of one who is so close to Krishna, what are we? हम किस खेत की मूली? Definitely for us also, it is very clear that we cannot understand Krishna so easily. न वेद यज्ञ ध्यानै न दानै न च क्रियाभिः न तपोभिः उग्रैः एवं रूपः शाक्यहं नरलोके द्रष्टुं त्वदन्येन कृपवित्रा. So the Supreme confirms his divinity. Only Krishna can show the universal form. Only he can give divine eyes to behold it. No impostor can imitate this. Therefore, Arjuna wanted a proof for future generations. And so the whole Virat or the viśva-rūpa was shown in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So in Kali Yuga, everyone declares that he is God. So Prabhupada said, if a person is claiming to be God, then we simply request with folded hands that he must first show viśva-rūpa and to give divine vision to see it. No one but Krishna can do this. So automatically the imposters will be easily identified. So when it comes to Krishna, there are so much of knowledge, so much of philosophy. But we see that in every lecture we are told that mental conceptions cannot help understand Krishna. Even Vedas cannot understand Krishna. So why is it that the material conceptions fail? Like something, Krishna assumed a material body and his personal form is imaginary. The universal form is greater than the original form. And sometimes people say that the absolute truth is ultimately impersonal. But all these ideas are rejected because Krishna's body is Satchitananda, eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. Secondly, Krishna is described by Brahma in Brahma Samhita as well as in Bhagavad Gita. We see the description clearly. And thirdly, Krishna is not revealed by logic. He can be revealed only by pure, unexceptional surrender. So hearing about Krishna from authorities is the real Vedic process. So the eternal worship of pure devotees is Krishna. Pure devotees worship Krishna both in the beginning and in perfection. Their worship never stops even after liberation. Impersonalists' worship ends when they merge into the Brahma Jyoti. And that is why the devotees are called Vipaschita, perfectly learned, as Mataji was saying. But this learning does not come from Vedas or reading the scriptures or reading the Bhagavatam or anything like this. The reading comes by Shravanam from an authority in the bona fide Guru Shishya Parampara. Because those who are in the bona fide disciplic succession from Brahma, they speak as it is, whatever Krishna has said. So Krishna gave the knowledge to Brahmaji, Brahmaji to Naradji, Naradji to Vyasdevji, Vyasdevji to Shukdevji, Shukdevji gave it to Parikshit Maharaj. That time Sud Goswamiji heard it. Sud Goswamiji is giving the same thing to all the devotees who are there in the Naimisharanya, and this is being seen by Vyasdevji in advance, and he has written all these things in Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is why as soon as Krishna went, this Bhagavatam appeared. So all the religious principles, they took the shelter of Bhagavatam, and hence Bhagavatam is called as the book incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna. Grantha Avatar Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So when we get to learn about Krishna in parampara through Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we become learned, vipaschita. And then we worship Krishna in the beginning as well as in perfection. The worship never stops. Even after liberation, when we reach Golok Dham, we continue our worship and service to Krishna. In fact, that is something which gives us the most happiness. One more point which Prabhupada ji has discussed in relation to this shloka is about this Golok Dham, the Golok Vrindavan, which is Krishna's real abode. So, we have already seen in our previous discussion that this material world that we even cannot conceptualize fully is only 1/4 of the creation. 3/4 of the creation is spiritual, the Vaikuṇṭha world. And the Lord eternally manifests his 200 and 400 forms there. Certain incarnations like Mohini Murti, they do not have dedicated planets. So devotees aim for the spiritual world, not for impersonal liberation. So this shloka, in summary, is teaching us important aspects. One, pure devotees reject both the material universal form and impersonal form. Two, they worship the eternal, beautiful Vaikuṇṭha forms of the Lord. 3, Brahmajyoti is accepted but not the final destination. 4, only by devotion one can see Krishna. 5, the universal form is temporary. Krishna's form is eternal. 6, devotees worship Krishna eternally even after liberation. And finally, we understand that this knowledge is passed only by the truly learned vipaschita. Hare Krishna. Thank you.